Hey y'all, you're listening to Diagnosing Sitcoms and Movies, the DSM podcast. We help make mental health more comfortable by using Black movies and shows we know and love and culture to remove stigma. So join our convo with your host, Courtney Copeland, licensed mental health counselor.
And Dr. B, licensed professional counselor.
Sing I'm a Dude.
I'm a dude. She's a dude. He's a dude. 'Cause we're all dudes. Yeah! That was my shit. He's mad annoying. I love Ed, but he's mad annoying.
No?
Ed is the best. So
I love him.
If y'all can't tell, we are going to be talking about the 1997 comedy film Good Burger, starring Kel Mitchell and Kenan Thompson, based on a comedy sketch titled Good Burger from the Nickelodeon series All That, produced by Nickelodeon Movies and Tyler and Robbins Productions, which is the name that you would see across the screen when Kenan used to say,
Hey, Clavis! Wake up! The show's over! Oh, yeah! Kick it!
Oh,
I'm a nerd. These things excite me. So I guess you gave then the I'm a Dude as the first one. I'll give my next quotable. And I think it should fix any of the world's, lows. Anytime that you're feeling bad, just think of, I'm great boy. Boobity, 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 boobity.
Blibbity, 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 blibbity. Stop it. Blibbity, blibbity, would you stop it?
That and
Strawberry jacuzzi! No.
Why is he always in some liquid he's not supposed to be in? That bob braided wig, whose idea was that?
So it was actually Kel's. So he had the character and everything, but he was like, I feel like something is missing something. So he said he went into like hair and makeup, found the wig, and was like, yep, this is it.
Oh my God.
That's character development, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow. Perfect. It was a perfect touch. Absolutely. So I think my quotable, another one that I have is like it's supposed to be like the sad moment where they're bonding. Dexter and Ed are bonding. And Dexter's like, I don't even know what my dad looks like. And then Ed is like, I don't remember what my dad looks like either, but at least I get to see him every day. Why?
Look at him like.
Why is he so annoying?
That actually goes into my diagnosis for later, so I want you to hold on to that.
I love him. It's like he's like one of those friends that you just be like, what? You lucky.
Don't ignore him. Please, no one look at him. No, when Dexter gives him the contract and he's like reading over, he's like, oh.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I know some of these words. Yeah. So what does it all mean, Dexter?
Yo, he had me in tears, yo. He was like, Dexter's a chicken.
Moo.
He's just so like, he's so funny to me. Like, annoying but funny. It was just the perfect character. I loved watching them as a kid. Like, oh my God. That's what it felt like to be a 90s kid.
Yes, Nickelodeon was awesome. And they had all of the good movies. And remember their VHS cassettes used to be orange? I had mad orange tapes.
I still want to know what slime tastes like.
What it tastes like? You're not supposed to eat it.
When people had the slime dumped on them and it got in their mouth, I wondered, what does slime taste like? And in my mind, it tastes like green apple. Can someone please confirm? If you've ever been slimed, let me know, please.
Is slime edible?
I would hope so. People can swim in it and get it dumped on them.
Okay. I also just wanted to highlight the comedic timing of Kenan. And I think some of his ad libs are hilarious. There's no way that some of the stuff that he was just throwing out was in the script. When they are getting taken off to Demented Hills And they push him in the room and he's like, "You'll never be half the man your mama was." Yo, he was giving out mad just little stuff. So I appreciate his comedic timing, just throwing them in there. A little razzle dazzle. So Good Burger, I just can't say enough good stuff about this movie. Like, it has a really low score on Rotten Tomatoes, and I don't understand why. Like, this movie was amazing. It was made for children. Like, I feel like that should be at the forefront of every critic and reviewer's mind. And only kids that should review it. It was a great movie. It was great.
It was. It was. And I think if you're an adult watching this movie, it's like, okay, Ed is so annoyed with his, like, just stupidity. It's like, why did they have to make him this dumb? But I think if you're looking at it from a different perspective, it's like, it's a movie that is teaching a lesson about responsibility, about friendship, about what it means to work hard. To me, I felt like if you look at the whole bigger picture, not just like Ed as the character, you'll see why that this was like such a great movie. And then it's like fucking Nickelodeon. How can you say fucking and Nickelodeon in the same sentence? I don't know, but I just did it twice.
You did that.
Did that. But yes, I love Good Burger. It brings back a really good memory, makes me very happy, especially watching it again as an adult. And then being able to diagnose, which also brought a different perspective again.
I was very torn on a couple of the characters because looking at them as a child, I'm just like, you make snap judgments and decisions, and then your brain wraps around that, and you just keep going and laugh. And this time I was like, let me think about that for a second. And then I thought about all of the social commentary of the fact that they was only making $5 an hour, and how you don't go to big businesses because it puts out mom and pop shops, but at the same time they're paying minimum wage, and how you can't make a living off that. Dexter's still probably paying off that doggone car right now. If Ed's special sauce ain't selling. And then, and then just so many larger systems, and then the fact that Kurt was able to manipulate and had so much pull. I was like, is his father a governor? How is he able to make these evil things happen? What manager of a burger place do you know can get somebody involuntarily commit 3 people involuntarily committed, has access to rat poison and triamphethol? You got to have some type of legal connection for that. Like,
yeah, now that you put that out there, because like, I just rolled along with it. I didn't realize like they actually were committed. And that was like the best scene for me, actually. That's one of my favorites.
Yo, okay, where did that scene come from? Like, how did they, okay, so y'all just in a mental asylum, and then we have to have a musical number?
Hey, I love it. And it was perfect. Made me want to be crazy. Because I was like, that's what they do there. You hate me? Okay.
Yes, because I actually thought it was very dark. It is a horrible depiction of institutionalization, and I'm glad that it stopped.
So, first of all, this is the first time you've ever said a movie is dark, and that is not actually dark. All the stuff that we've ever diagnosed, you're like, this is my favorite movie, really? Boys in the Hood. I watched this as a kid.
Yes, because this movie was made for children. Why are you showing? There were valid reasons why between 55 and 94, hundreds of thousands of people were deinstitutionalized. Like, there were terrible things that were happening there. People were being killed and murdered, abused, tortured. There were unethical uses of treatment methods and mind-altering drugs. And
Jeez, man. Why did you have to do that?
We could go into diagnosis here as well, because it relates. Because Heather introduces herself as a psychopath, where I guess it's psychopathy, but it's no longer recognized in the DSM. And actually, the true definition of a psychopath in psychiatry would be antisocial personality disorder. But Heather also shares that the voices in her brain told her to free the kangaroos, which made me feel like, okay, well, Heather must be misdiagnosed, because that and some of the things that she's showing, I feel like more aligned with schizophrenia. And so she was misdiagnosed and put in an asylum. Did Kurt put her there too? He used to work at the zoo, and after she freed the kangaroos, he had her put there.
You know that there's a brief psychotic disorder, and there's other psychotic disorder. Like that's what it's under. Substance, and then psychotic disorder due to medical. So it's still there.
But her diminished emotional expression had me feeling like schizophrenia, her derailment of conversation, and disorganized behavior. So I was like, I'm feeling like more like schizophrenia. Of course, I would need more, than just what we got. But just the things that she was given weren't antisocial personality disorder.
That's true. Okay. So, on a serious note, you feel like the mental asylum stigmatized mental health?
I feel like it wasn't the sole thing, like Good Burger is what did it, but it did reinforce negative stereotypes that people have about, which would, I guess, more so today be psychiatric hospitals and just mental health in general.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I get it.
It's time for your pills. Like, come on now. And the big burly orderlies, they had them in straitjackets. Okay, I'm sorry I'm ruining your childhood fantasy of going to a padded room, bouncing off the walls, and then dancing to George Clinton. Please don't let this keep you from wanting to live out that dream.
Hater. Whatever. Moving along.
But shout out to them having George Clinton make random cameo in the movie. I think that was dope.
Right?
The culture. Okay, so can I bounce a fake diagnosis? Not a fake diagnosis, just he didn't really have a diagnosis. Can I bounce that off of you?
Okay, who?
Okay, so Mr. Weed, Sinbad.
That wasn't me either. What was your thoughts?
Okay, so I was like, there's some type of delusion going on here where you still feel like you're in the 70s. Now, there is a trope, a character trope that existed in the 90s in a lot of Black sitcoms. We see it in the Steve Harvey Show with his group. We see it in the Wayans Brothers when the Temptones come back together, where the person who gets high is still stuck in the 70s. So I was like, I wonder if he fits into that trope of you high, bruh, and so you still think that you in the 70s.
Oh.
They don't drug test public school personnel. Because if you think about it, he said some stuff where I was like, this dude is high. Like, everybody is running for their lives out of Mondo Burger. And he says, must be a shift change. Dude, a shift change? These people are running for their lives.
I guess you have a point. I mean,
I'm going to Mondo Burger, home of the big booty burger.
I'm going to have lunch at Mondo Burger, home of the big booty burger. Home of the big booty burger.
Big booty instead of saying big ass.
It's the big booty burger. Made a little song about it.
What was this rated PG? I think this is rated PG, right?
It had to be. I think didn't Otis, he said ass, like when he got knocked on the ground, and he was like, you gotta take me to a hospital. I think I broke my ass.
Oh, okay.
So maybe there was a one ass maximum and Otis hit it.
Actually, they do count the number of curse words, and that's how they determine the ratings.
And Sinbad doesn't curse, like he doesn't curse in his comedy period. So he was going to say big booty burger anyway.
Oh, yeah. True. Okay. Got it.
Okay, so and then in my mind, he had substance-induced psychotic disorder, for his delusion was that he was still stuck in the 70s.
God, psychotic.
A lot of stuff up. I'm making a lot of things up, but
he got angry about his car, though.
I mean, if a giant burger crushed your only mode of transportation, when that man said, "I hate to put a black man in jail, but I got to call the police."
It sounds like some shit we would probably say. Listen, okay, you done fuck with the wrong person today, and I'm not the old me. I'm calling the police. Hopefully.
It's against everything I believe in, but I'm calling the police.
I can't handle this right now. Hello.
Okay, so I guess then moving on, we've done Heather, we've done Mr. Wheat. I diagnosed Roxanne, who was played by Carmen Electra at the height of her Carmen Electra-ness. I diagnosed her with histrionic personality disorder.
No, how did I know?
She fit almost every criteria.
Okay, for the sake of the show, let the people know what histrionic disorder is.
Yes, so histrionic disorder, the criteria that I felt that she met was being uncomfortable in situations in which he or she is not the center of attention. She was making sure, hey, bring it back here, Ed. Focus.
Mm-hmm.
Interaction with others is often characterized by inappropriate, sexually seductive, or provocative behavior. She said she would do anything for a recipe to his sauce. Consistently uses physical appearance to draw attention to self. So clearly this is something that she must normally do, because Kurt specifically sought out her. He said,
anyone can get the sauce out of Ed. She can't.
Which was not supposed to be a nasty joke.
It is. Why Roxanne had to be the sexy, sleazy girl name? Like, why? Why? Who did it? What song?
Then they played the song Roxanne, which is about whores in Amsterdam while she was walking in.
It's disrespectful. I love the name Roxanne. Makes me think,
Roxanne selling ass.
Roxanne, I want to be your man. That's the only time it was at least normalized. But fuck.
Roxanne in a Goofy movie was bad. That's the baddest cartoon character out.
Exactly, but she was very voluptuous and was to go towards.
But she wasn't a whore. But she was not a whore.
Of being a Jezebel. How about that? How about that?
Okay, so let me keep going through the criteria. Consistently uses physical appearance to draw attention. Shows self-dramatization, theatricality, and exaggerated expression of emotion. She was very exaggerated, especially when she first walked into Good Burger. And considers relationships to be more intimate than they actually are. She really thought Ed cared anything about what she had going on, and he did not. And when she tried to kiss him, and he body slammed her so quick. He said, "Uh-oh."
All I see is the braids, child.
She had to go tell Kurt, "I quit. I can't do this no more." He put Roxanne out of business.
He said, "I can't do this no more." She ain't get her ass whooped. That's why.
That John tried to kill me.
Her pimp name was not Slipback. She wasn't ready.
Man, terrible. Crucial times.
That's isn't that funny.
Okay, speaking of Kurt, I bounced back and forth with him too, because Kurt was evil. Kurt had extremely unrealistic pull for him to just own a burger shop. You know what I mean? That was real weird that he could make all them things happen and had all that access.
Narcissistic.
Okay, so I ended up with narcissistic, but only after visiting antisocial personality, because he was doing so many things that were illegal. And so, so yes, but I did eventually come back and land on narcissistic personality for Kurt, because when you mess with Kurt, you go in the grinder.
Yeah. He was so annoying too, in a negative way.
Okay, so you agreed that Kurt was narcissistic. Would you like for me to go over the criteria for you?
Yes, please. Yes.
Okay, so Kurt pretty much had all of these. He had a grandiose sense of self-importance, expecting to be recognized as superior without any real like justifiable achievements, preoccupied with fantasies of unlimited success and power, believe that he or she is special and unique and can only be understood by or associate with other special or high status people, requires excessive admiration, has a sense of entitlement, is interpersonally exploitive, lacks empathy, shows arrogant, haughty behaviors or attitudes, and is either envious of others or believes that those are envious of him.
I mean, yeah, he should just have his name. I mean, face next to next to the word narcissist. And then, I mean, his haircut. Oh, his face. He had a punchable face.
Nickelodeon did have like things with old actors sometimes playing young, and I feel like Kurt had to be a good 37.
Had to be.
Because he aged like cheap cheese. He did not look young at all.
Not cheap cheese. So
Tina said, I bet Kurt looked weird naked. He talked about Kurt is your mother and your father. First of all, Kurt talked about Kurt in third person.
Okay, that's problem number one. I mean, that's obvious. And then two, like, what you mean you gonna be my mother and my father and my family? Like,
at this part-time burger job.
Right? And bye. But that was funny though. Like, because my first job was working at McDonald's, and I don't know, like managers really be feeling themselves to that point. Like they be like, "You gonna do okay?" Like you like, it's just McDonald's.
They be like, what? They be like, what?
You gonna do what I say? I'm gonna write you up. And you're like, okay. I do feel like some people really do be feeling themselves in those positions. And I think that was also like kind of, they added on for the sake of just being Nickelodeon to this idea, especially when you're a teenager and you get a little bit, you'd be like, oh, you can speak out. So God, if I saw you outside, I'd push you in your face. You lucky my boss.
Listeners, don't ever tell a manager that you're going to punch them in the face, though, because you'll get fired. What ended my career at Target. It's a true story. I was employee of the month and everything, and then I lost it all. Told the intern manager, she wasn't even our regular manager. She came down from Raleigh. If I see her today, I really would punch her in the face. The bitch got me fired. She was a temporary, so she wasn't even our store manager.
But I know her when I see her.
Yeah. Each time I go to Raleigh, I be looking in the Targets, peeking for her. Like I will get it popping in one of these aisles if I see her with that blonde curly perm. She had a blonde curly perm. Like,
yeah,
whichever one y'all see me jump on, that's her. Like, okay, anyway, back to the movie. I'm not about that life anymore. I am a tax-paying citizen. I have a podcast, okay? So, but Kurt didn't even want nobody talking while he was talking. Who said that? Who uttered while Kurt was talking?
Ooh, you ever have characters you want to fight? You definitely I just want to fight them. Just cause.
In real life, I wouldn't even fight him. I would get fired just like Keenan did because I would be laughing. Like that would be funny to me. If you mess with Kurt, you go in the grinder. I'd have said, we don't even have a grinder, Kurt.
But didn't they though?
Was that what that was? That was stirring that fake meat?
Yeah. They wouldn't do that.
I mean, he already selling triamphethol. Might as well sell a little human meat. He don't care. He lacks empathy because he's a narcissist.
It didn't even look good.
So, moving on. I did not diagnose. I know this may surprise you. I did not diagnose Dexter. I felt like just like Monique said, he was just self-centered and obnoxious. And I feel like he is a poster child of why you shouldn't spoil your children because they become entitled brats who can't understand the feelings and thoughts of others and get into that teenage mind of self-preservation. And so they just do whatever to take care of themselves because their brain isn't fully developed past thinking about themselves.
Right. Exactly. And that's why I felt like it was hard to try to diagnose him because I was like, That was me. I wasn't entitled. I wouldn't say I would have had a sense of entitlement, but it was more so like,
just young, dumb stuff. He was making young, dumb decisions.
I did something. I was like, well, sorry that hurts you. And go about my business. Sorry. But now I really I am like, oh my God, how can I do something? What can I do? Back then, I was such a fucking asshole. God.
And then even more than just him being, he just felt like he could do whatever he wanted to do. Like he was sleeping in class. He took his mom's car. It wasn't even close to having a license.
He used Ed.
That's the worst thing he did in my book.
Right. I really tried not to be that type of person. I really was never that person, but I don't know.
I don't think I've ever made someone sign a contract that I would get 70% of their money.
Right. Yeah, so no, I never would do anything like that.
I don't know what you were doing at your teenage age. I don't think I ever made someone sign a contract.
I was working at Jamaican restaurants at Donna's in Florida. Okay.
We did get a lot of backstory on Dexter though. And so we got to see him with his father not having that relationship anymore. And it sounds like his mom tried to make up by just working and providing him with things. And then that's why he just felt like it was okay to do whatever he wanted to do. Hurt people. Hopefully once he gets older, he realizes that this lesson that he learned here with Ed teaches him not to be a user.
So what would your prognosis be for Dexter?
I feel that actually I would have a really good prognosis for Dexter because I feel like just him, the relationship, the friendship that he was able to build with Ed and being more understanding and learning empathy and showing empathy to somebody else. And the fact that he gave Mr. Wheat the money. Because he could have just been like, well, you don't need this no more.
Okay.
But he still gave him, it was like, well, here you go. Here's the half that I owe. Have the other half at the end of the summer.
Okay, I don't know.
I'm going to make good on my promise. I don't know what you're going to drive or how this is going to help, but I'm going to do good on what it is that I have to do. So I do have a good prognosis for him. Him not pouting when Monique was like, you are being shiesty. I found the contract. Like him not trying to continue to lie his way out of that, and him not like being ugly then towards her and being like, well, fuck you too then, bitch. Because you know, teenagers, they can't.
That wouldn't have been very Nickelodeon-ish of them.
Right. And so, given the script that we have, I feel like I have a good prognosis for him because it ended on such a positive outlook.
Right.
But when Ed said, we can't be partners no more, Ed says,
is it because I'm black?
I died. But I appreciate this movie so much because that is the only reference that they make to them being black. I love it when they have movies about black characters where the whole thing just isn't about them being black. Like they are black and they're doing stuff, like they're living life. So I was so happy. I just love this movie. There's nothing negative that I have to say about the entire film, and you won't make me.
I mean, other than the mental asylum, clearly.
That was the only, it wasn't their fault. They didn't write that.
But yes, I agree.
But it was dark. It was dark. That's a dark depiction. You're showing people involuntary commitment in a children's movie.
Compliment.
Okay. I'm sorry. Maybe I do have some negative things to say about this movie.
It's there. It always happens. I'm telling you, it happens. But anyway, I just feel like this is a good movie. And it's nice to see, like you said, like two of the black main characters, being just regular. No, okay. Ed wasn't quite regular. I was going to say regular kids. He wasn't quite regular.
People with disabilities are still regular.
Indeed. Damn it. Damn. Fine. Okay. He was
so what did you diagnose him with? What are we saying that his disability is?
I did general developmental delay because he didn't start talking until he was 6.
Facts. Then I was 6. This is when I said my first words. We just glazed over that, like, wait a minute, pause that. He said 6.
Right. Like, what? Excuse me? You just, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can't, like, 6 months, maybe. I don't know. So that's it for me. Wait, hold on. Let me pull that up so y'all can know what that entails. Where is it?
Did you look in the front first?
Where is it? Did I say general? I said general. That's why. General developmental delay.
Did you make up something? Because there's global developmental delay.
Hey, I just made up something that's about to stick. So apparently I made up my own diagnosis. So definitely not general developmental delay. That's why I couldn't find it. So I'm going to continue to look and read and see, but I would love to know, how did you come up with a diagnosis for Ed?
I bounced back and forth. I was real torn between this one to the point where I had to send a text message to one of my school psychology classmates and say, hey, girl, you remember the movie Good Burger? So the two that I was stuck between was intellectual disability, mild for him, and him being on the autism spectrum disorder. And so eventually I kind of landed on autism spectrum disorder because of there's a list of things where he meets the criteria. I'll just go through a couple.
Okay.
So deficits in developing, maintaining, and understanding relationships. And so I put that to his difficulty with normally making friends. And so when Dexter did call him buddy, he was so excited. Like, you mean it? You said we're buddies, so we're friends, right? And like, so that meant a lot to him because that is something that can be difficult for people who are on the spectrum to do. Nonverbal communication behaviors are areas with deficit as well. Understanding body language and use of gestures. And I feel that he didn't lack expression, but sometimes he didn't understand other people's expression towards him. And so it could either be motor movements or speech. And I chose speech and I used
Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order, huh?
That's like the best line ever.
Yes, but it's also him repetitive. And it goes with I always mess this word, so pray for me. The echolalia, however that word is.
Oh, yeah,
that word.
Yeah. Okay.
That, so I attribute that to his Welcome to Good Burger and his insistence on sameness, adherence to routines and ritualized patterns of behavior. And so like he even says like Good Burger is my life. We see his house. He has stuff about Good Burger and burgers on the wall. He sleeps in his Good Burger uniform. He showers in his Good Burger uniform and then wears his Good Burger uniform on dates because he puts a tie on when it's a date because it's a special occasion. But everything else is still the Good Burger uniform. And it's highly restricted, fixated with an abnormal intensity or focus. And so just the way that he poured himself into everything Good Burger, I felt like represented that as well. And some of his taking everything literally. So when the guy comes in and it's like, I asked for a burger with nothing on it. He's like, dude, that's what I gave you. And he said, no, this is a bun. And so,
in his defense though, I mean, why would you say nothing on it? Like,
he said burger with nothing on it. So wouldn't you get the patty? Even if you didn't get the bun, wouldn't you get the patty?
Excuse me. Look, I ordered one Good Burger with nothing on it.
And that's what I gave you.
No, you gave me a bun. Just a bun. Look, there's no meat in here.
But you said you wanted nothing on it.
That's what I expected, a meat patty.
Dude, a meat patty is something. You said nothing.
I would be the asshole to get just a bun. Because you said nothing on it. so I give you nothing on it.
I win.
And so while I felt that there was more information that we would need and things like that, while we do have history of him not speaking words until he was 6, we don't know his full childhood history and development milestones. So I couldn't give him a full on intellectual disability because I didn't know he could potentially qualify just off of some of the things that he is exhibiting though. But since we don't have a full assessment of that, I didn't want to diagnose that. But it is heavily prevalent that there is comorbidity between autism spectrum disorder and intellectual impairment. And so we could, leave that for further questioning, further assessment on whether his autism spectrum is with or without accompanying intellectual impairment.
Wow. Okay, well, after realizing I made up my own diagnosis, because what it was global developmental delay. For some reason, I wrote down general developmental delay. We might make
they both start with a G.
Right.
It's close.
This diagnosis is reserved for individuals under the age of 5 when the clinical severity level cannot be reliably assessed during childhood. So, and I have this highlighted. I have this highlighted in my DSM. I do. And so I don't understand. So it's actually supposed to be the diagnosis under. But for some reason, I still wrote down the wrong diagnosis. So the proper one is unspecified intellectual disability or intellectual developmental disorder. And this category is reserved for individuals over the age of 5 when assessment of the degree of intellectual disability by means of locally available procedures is rendered difficult or impossible. So I said that because I know that we don't have a lot of information. But now that you broke down some of the things that he does, and I guess it wouldn't be hard.
No, I feel like I went back and forth between intellectual impairment and autism spectrum, back and forth. If I hadn't gotten confirmation from consulting with a fellow professional, I would still be torn between the two, and we spend way more time dissecting this. Okay. But
all right. Well, that's just my 2 cents. I just wanted to give you.
So then those are the two. We can make a formal statement that those are the 2 that we are in between, and we feel like we need further assessment in order to clarify which one we would diagnose this specific character with, because we are lacking some information to make a decision. Right.
And my prognosis with working with him, I think I would go with having.
Could you imagine Ed as a client?
Child. I kick him out after 30 minutes. Not even 30, 20. Be like, get out of here. Just get out.
I would too, because I'd be like, there's nothing wrong with you, Ed. You just
get out. And you just come
in
a
job. You got familial support. You got friends now. You good, bro.
I'm worried about his memory, okay? Because he can't remember what his dad looked like.
Oh, that's what I wanted to say. Facial recognition. And so sometimes individuals with autism do have difficulty with facial recognition. And that was one of the deciding factors that helped me lean more towards autism.
But, what hurts my feelings about that is he had to be this funny, goofy, awkward person. And then his diagnosis is autism.
But I feel like it's on a spectrum. And so I feel like that I'm not saying that he is severe. I feel like, and I feel like ever since they made the separation between Asperger's and autism, and then just place everything on a spectrum, people hear it as just one thing, and they automatically assume that, so it has to be fully the worst. He's basically as far, there's Chris Rock and Rain Man, and there's no in between. And I feel like that's not the case. It does exist on a spectrum. Even Ed said at the end of the movie, I'm not stupid. He knows that, things are a little off, but he's not dumb. He can. And again, which is why what pushed me more towards autism. He was able to make a fully developed plan. He was able to see the consequences of what it was that he would do.
Sure. See, I knew if I took the can, there was a good chance I'd get caught. Then I thought, even if I did take the triamphethol to the proper authorities, Kurt would hire some high-powered attorneys who would dispute any charges brought against him or Mondo Burger by manipulating the legal system. And the way that America's court system is congested these days, it would have taken months to convict him of anything. So then I thought, I'll take the matters into my own hands and just pour the triamphethol into the meat supply and let Mondo Burger be a victim of its own foul play. Wait. You thought of all that? Sure. I'm not stupid.
Right. Like, oh, okay. I'm right. That's actually a good plan. Whose plan was it to get dressed in ladies' clothes?
That was Keenan's plan. Or, I'm sorry, that was Dexter's plan. Ed just fully committed and also wore lingerie, which, okay, when I was a kid, was really funny. Yes.
It's funny now.
It is. But he's a teenage boy and y'all putting him in lingerie. Like, that's a boy. And y'all got him in women's lingerie.
You talking about, like, Kel at that age?
Yes. Kel at that age was a boy. And they dressed him up in women's lingerie.
I wouldn't go as far as they. Maybe he said he'll do it.
Of course he said he'll do it. He at work. I'm just saying, the writers. I don't think they thought that all the way through. They just went for the cheap laugh.
Well, I think maybe he might have put that in there without them even noticing and being like, oh, that's funny. We can keep it in there. You're not buying it. Cool.
You don't believe that shit.
Yeah, it is kind of awkward. You're right.
Okay. But, again, neither here nor there. But him having that processing ability, I do feel like he sees the world very differently than others, but I do feel like he was able to formulate an entire plan and follow through with it and different things like that. And so he was high functioning enough to work at Good Burger for 5 years.
That is true. Okay, I mean, well, we got good prognosis. He don't have to come to my office no more.
Yeah, I don't feel like because I feel like he does not need a substantial amount of support. So I feel like at
least from what we can tell.
Yes. And then what brings me to further question, this is the question that I left from after watching this movie. Did Ed really understand that Dexter was taking his money and was just okay with it because he was so desperate to be Dexter's friend?
I think that is also part of the story too. Because he wanted a friend so bad that he was willing to help him, even if it meant him taking his check. So yeah, I do feel like he knew. And could be, he was okay without it. I mean, he didn't have a lot, So,
yeah, he was happy making the $5.
Yeah, he was like, okay.
Really? I make $5?
So I agree with that. And that's why Dexter wanted to cut up the contract, because he's like, he just wants to be my friend, like, for real. So.
Not because I'm Black. But again, I think that is a testament to both of their good prognosis and them growing to be healthy, functioning adults.
Yeah. This is such
as healthy as an egg could be.
Yeah,
I love it. And to keep you on that high. So, I'm a nerd. I got to do my little research. Mm-hmm. Now, on March 5th, 2018, Kel said that there were talks on a Good Burger 2. And then in December, him and Keenan said that they would be open for a sequel, if not just a reboot.
I would be more interested in a reboot with the kid from Coffee and Cream. He's so funny to me. Instead of a sequel, because sequels just never usually come out the way they're supposed to. And Nickelodeon hasn't had a movie come out in how long? Or what was the last Nickelodeon movie that came out?
That's a good question that I don't know the answer
to. Right, exactly my point. Disney, however, can do reboots. Well, reboots and sequels.
Girl, you gonna stop bringing up that Disney on every episode. That was me throwing my DSM if you couldn't hear it.
Well, damn. I'm just trying to make a point.
You know how I feel about about Disney. We have a love-hate relationship, and you can't keep bringing them up and their problematicness on movies that are so near and dear to my heart. I can't keep going through this, ma'am. You're triggering me.
Okay. I hear you. I am sorry for triggering you. I just don't think that Nickelodeon could do this.
I think if they allow Keenan and Kel to really have a stronger hold over it and them determine the direction that they go with it, I think it would do very well because the boys can write. That they can do. They're great actors. They're great performers. And they don't try to push themselves into roles that aren't for them anymore. Like even with the reboot of All That and them coming back for the different things that Nickelodeon was doing, they still put themselves in adult roles. And so I think that they are smarter and have strong enough comedic brains that they would do it right. Just because it was so much of their childhood and they know what it means to other people as well. Mm-hmm. I think they would do it right. And if they don't, if it wasn't looking like it was going the right way, I think that they would step away from the table because they both have enough going on where they don't need to do a Good Burger 2 or reboot.
That's true. Oh my God, I did meet Kel at the University of Iowa. I took a picture with him. He did a stand-up there.
I'd have passed out. I'd have passed out like the girl on the 5 Heartbeats.
It was like right there. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. When I was like cheesing and looking into the selfie, I was like, look at his gap. It's in person. Okay, anyway.
No, I don't love him now, but the level of love that I had for him as a child, oh my God.
Yeah, like it was so different. You know, it was like definitely not the child Kel. And I was like, this is rather lame. Or what's the word am I looking for? It was like
anticlimactic.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Need better emotional words. So yeah, it was like kind of dry. Like it was good comedy, you know, and then it was just nice to see a nice celebrity on campus. And it was like, okay, I'm done. The event, I believe, was like maybe either $5 or free. One or two. So yeah. That goes to say.
Not to say that Kel is not worth a great, whatevs, but
right.
I'm sure stand-up is something that he's developing because both him and Keenan are comedic actors.
Right.
I know them for stand-up. I know them for comedic acting.
Yeah. So I was like, you're here standing up.
Oh my God. Okay. So on that note, if you would like to support the show to help us get more content out to you all, you can visit our website, buy our merch, or follow the Support the Show link to become a Patreon member or donate on our Cash App. Now, we're happy to get the kind of money that jingles, but we would rather the kind that folds. As always, be sure to follow us on Instagram at the DSM Podcast, and you can subscribe to our show wherever you get podcasts. While you're there, go ahead and leave us a comment because we are counselors and actually care about what you have to say. Until next time, y'all. Peace.
Okay, bye.